Welcome back, Smile Mentor family. Today we are getting towards the finish line where we have had a second PMMA set. We're coming in today to kind of get that checked on, discuss a little bit of it, and we're getting closer to moving to those finals. So if you haven't caught up to this point, recommend you go back to kind of the beginning and see in our appointment section where we even started off the case planning. But we've already done the surgery, we've already healed, and now we're real close to the finish line to get that final delivery set. So, Dr. Ratana, what are we doing today?
I'm going to check. This is literally a follow-up of your temp. So how you feel with your temp, your bite, your aesthetics, how your family feels about it. So basically it's to check up if we need to do any changes or not. If everything is good, we can proceed to the final material in the same design.
Okay. Yeah. If I was, the fit from the first to the second drastically different. This set has fit a lot better. On my rear right, probably the last 5-6 days, it's almost felt a little
loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because screw loosening or something like that. Remember, these are temps.
Yeah, which is fine.
So, exactly. So maybe it's broken. I mean, that's another option too. Because this is a plastic that is very brittle and it's just like a mock-up to try it in, and so maybe it's moving because of that. Yeah. I mean, no worries.
Which I want to recommend you guys, when you have that happen, especially if you've had a failed implant or something like that, like I have, it can make you nervous. So what Dr. Ratana said, to just kind of not really worry about that right away, to kind of feel it might loosen a little bit. There might have been something that broke because it's just plastic. It's a mock-up type deal. It's not my final, but don't freak out if you have a little bit of give on it, which is...
and that's because we're in a different stage. We're not during the healing process. So we already know, and we checked your implants. All of them were osseointegrated. So we're safe on that side. Now, we are just trying in plastic PMMAs, and this and that. But if something breaks right now, it's not risky for your implants. I mean, not that much because they're already osseointegrated.
Yeah.
If this happens during the healing process of your implants, it's a different story, because we want no movement during that healing stage.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so I guess we get it.
So how do you feel with those? You like them? You like the aesthetics? Do you feel good with the function?
The aesthetics are good. One of the things that when I attended that CE course that you guys invited us to on the veneer side of things, my lower, and that's going to be something that we pursue after all this gets settled, but my lower being is going to be something I want to discuss with somebody about, possible those thin veneers or something like that to match on the top. So when you say the aesthetic, the teeth shape I love. How would I go about deciding what color to go with if I'm going to do anything different to the bottom, right?
Yes. I mean, all these temps are plastic temps, and this is based on a monochromatic material, okay? So actually we use this template or this based bleach color, and then we stain it just for the temps. Basically what we try a lot is like the function and the fitting and all that. But of course we can play a lot with a shade, and then with the final material is a different material, it's translucent, you have different shades in the same tooth, like the natural dentition. So this one is pretty white, I know.
Sure.
But we need to check the bite and the function and the shape,
Yeah, the shape I like.
But now we need to discuss about color, So that means that today I'm going to talk with a technician, and we are going to do what we call a custom shade. So we're going to check that, and also the gum shade, the pink part. So the pink part should match your natural gum pink, And then in your case, it's not that important because you don't show that match, the gum. But of course, we make the match, okay? Yeah. And today we decide that. Yeah, we will decide the color of your teeth. We're going to go, of course, a little bit more natural looking than the temp you have right now in that sense. So we're going to go closer to your natural dentition, but of course not yellow, okay? Right. And then we play based on that.
Okay. Perfect. And then when it comes to the final design, so you guys did, I mean, this is it's drastically different on the cleaning because it sits up in there, and because it sits up in there, there's not as much gap as there was when I went from the last to this one, correct? Or the last two, actually. So with that gap minimized, I've been able to clean great around it. The only spot that's hard is behind the front.
Yes.
Because there's more of a lip.
Yes.
Right? If that makes sense, kind of a curve, whereas around this part, there's not as much.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so will that be in the final as well? Will there be an increased?
I mean, the shape of these teeth should be the same for the final, okay?
Okay.
Why? Because that's why we do it. You know, we need to try everything as it is, and then we can transfer that to the final material. We have some room to play sometimes because the final material is stronger, okay? So we can make things a little bit thinner or, you know, but basically this is the shape that we'll move to the final material, okay? So if we need to do changes, we will analyze that with the design and with the technicians to see if we can reduce or not. But the most important part is, yes, this one is much more adapted to your gum, but that doesn't mean it's like a saddle. This is exactly convex, I mean like convex with convex, you know? So it's not like wrapping your reach, it's like this, okay? So yes, it's tighter, and then it's much more adapted because the continuation between the fake gum and your natural gum should be much better. And that's why you feel it's much easier to clean and less food trap compared to the previous immediate low temp, because your reach healed and changed position and this and that, okay? So this one, you feel more adapted, but that doesn't mean it's, because sometimes if I do like a saddle, you will feel much better, but it would be impossible for you to clean. And that doesn't mean it's good. Every patient loves this one, you know, because it's like, oh man, I have no food trap, everything is good, but you cannot clean.
Yeah, the micro stuff gets in there and you can't get it out. So then it doesn't really bother me as long as when you get in there, if you can see that I'm able to, with the access that I have and what I got going on, is that area getting
I'm going
clean?
to check, yes.
Perfect.
Okay, let me check 1 second, and then we'll do the custom shade and all that, okay?
Okay.
We're good. And rest.
Perfect.
So just let me check if they have all the info to continue and then we are going to check the shade, and that's it. Okay?
Perfect.
I mean, functionally everything looks good, and the bite looks good, the adaptation with your gum looks good. So, I mean, I just need to check the shade with the technician, and that's it.
Okay. Would you recommend to a patient, okay, how long will it be before you go attempt to do veneers? Because it might be in a patient's best interest to match more natural now if they're going to go for a year or so and just purchase another set if they want to on the upper?
I mean, basically what we always recommend is to set everything else to the final shade, you know. For example, if you're going to do whitening or you're going to do veneers, of course, we prefer to do that first and then we match that, okay? That's the idea. Because as you mentioned, if not, we need to make a new set after it to be able to match it, okay? But we go to a midpoint, you know, not this white, not that yellow, and we can do that, and we do that a lot with a lot of patients that they are able to do, for example, sometimes only one arch, and then they do the other arch later on. So we go to a midpoint, okay? So it's not like a drastic impact when you see, wow, that's super fake or too white. So we need to match the shade with your age, with your lower teeth, you know, with your skin shade, everything, you know? So we make it match, and we make it like nice, clean, but natural looking, you know? That's my recommendation.
If I was going to get veneers, then would I have whatever doctor's going to do that, would I have them then match to what we're doing at the top?
Of course, yeah.
And so if I like it wider, then that mid-range you're talking about, you'd want to go a little wider in that, but yet know as a patient, if you're going to do that, then you got a season where there's going to be a drastic, more of a difference between your upper and lower. Is that?
Yeah, if you're going to do, for example, one thing is to do widening because you have limitations, for example, because you're going to widen until one point because it's your natural shade. But if you're going to do restorations like veneers or things like that, you can match those to your final set.
Okay.
So we make a decision, natural looking, nice, clean, white, and then we work towards that.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
That's it?
That sounds good. So you're gonna go get the lab?
Yeah, yes, let me check what they have. If they have all the records for your bite and all that.
Okay.
And we'll see if they need, because maybe last time they did the pictures for the gum shade and all that. Remember?
They did.
Let me check.
They did.
Let me check.
Yeah.
Let me do a bite record just in case.
Okay.
That's it. So we have everything, okay?
Okay.
So we're going
What'd
to-
you do? You had another set that you used?
No,
my old
I'm
set?
using the previous set.
Okay.
That's a bite rim, that's how we call it. So it's because we have everything digital, okay? So we don't
Right.
have like a physical mount of your case, but I'm taking advantage that we have that one. So I'm going to physically mount it. So then when they print it and mill it and do everything, we'll have this to verify your bite.
So you took the old PMMA,
Yes.
my first PMMA.
The second one I think is, yeah.
You took my current one out, put the old one in, filled it with some material.
Yes,
that-
it's a bite registration material. Yeah.
So it's that stuff that you make people go "Arrgh," like those things that when you make people.
Similar, it's the same PVS material, but this is just for the bite. Yeah.
Okay, so you put that on, and then when that comes off, that leaves the extra material that once I bit down, now there might be a little gap in the back or here and there, and it will fill in those
Exactly.
gaps so you know.
Yes. How
Okay.
to relate
Perfect.
your lower copy, the model that we have from your lower teeth, to the upper jaw, okay? Without teeth, because we will use this just to mount it, but then we'll have like the physical space and everything that we already have digitally, but we always like to verify it before we do all the final adjustments with the final material and all that.
Okay.
So we'll have everything, yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay?
All right. So then, now what?
And now we're going to start the process of the final teeth.
Okay.
And that's it. And then we'll try it. And if you liked it, you take it.
So how long do you think we should be anticipating before the first final set?
The final set, there's
what it is,
only
the
one.
final
Yeah,
set,
yeah.
sorry.
Between 2 and 3 weeks.
Okay. Who would I talk with back there about coming by when they're milling it and some of those things as we're going through stages? Would that be possible?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go and talk with the manager and they will have an idea when they will
Perfect.
start designing, and then you can check on the
Back
design
with them and
and all that, and
okay.
Okay?
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Perfect.